Good evening, everybody. My name is Ryan with Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. We're going to be covering a few updates in regard to tonight's storms and also take a look at the forecast again for tomorrow, what we expect, so on and so forth. So we won't be on here too long, I don't anticipate. We do have just a couple things to touch on here, starting with what's happening right now. So, looking at a couple of the radars here, we do have some severe thunderstorms here in the Indianapolis metro area on the west side, Bainbridge, Greencastle areas. This is warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds as well as 1-inch hail. And if we look back to the west in Illinois, we also have this line of storms that has also not currently warned, but does carry severe potential through Indiana overnight. There is a severe thunderstorm watch through southern Indiana through 3 a.m., as well as parts of southwest Ohio. So, like Cincinnati areas, Dayton areas, you guys should be on alert later this evening. Then also going back even further to the west here towards St. Louis, back into Missouri, we have all this left to get through. This is going to turn into one big QLCS line, as we call it. It's going to push eastward across southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and also parts of South Ohio. Looking at the future radar potential here, based on the latest HRRR model. We're going to go ahead and bring this up. Let it load in here just a second. There we go. This is potential radar, not current radar. We're going to see it does take shape here. The squall line does move across Illinois and also Indiana here overnight. It does bring potential for all hazards, including tornadoes, wind, and hail, although hail is going to be your primary risk, followed by damaging winds. And the third risk tonight will be an isolated tornado or two possible. That's going to move all the way across, again, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, all the way into South Ohio. This is at 7 a.m. here. So quite the, looking at the radar here, quite the storm system moving through overnight tonight. But that's not all. Looking at tomorrow, we have additional development here, firing off in portions of Illinois, Indiana here. Looking at the latest models, does look to be kind of shifting again further back to the west. So with the SPC day 2 outlook that comes out at 2 a.m. tonight, I would expect that to move more so to the west areas. Here, I'm going to take this off your screen so you guys can see the risk area as highlighted here. This is going to be your moderate risk here in central Illinois or Ohio. Sorry, your red area here in Ohio is your moderate risk, which is level 4 out of 5. And then we have a orange risk surrounding, you really can't see that very well, but there's an orange risk surrounding this. And that's going to be for a potential, again, for tornadoes, wind, and also hail. And then a slight risk all the way back here into western Indiana, northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, all the way over into Pennsylvania, back down to West Virginia. But your highest risk tomorrow is going to be in this area, in particular, right about here from Indianapolis up to about Fort Wayne, over to Cleveland, over to Pittsburgh, down here to Charleston, West Virginia, all the way back over here to Cincinnati. That box really is the main risk hazard for tomorrow. And we're talking potential for significant tornadoes, long track, violent tornadoes tomorrow, definitely on the table. Damaging wind gusts above 75 miles per hour on the table, as well as significant hail above 2 inches in diameter. That's also a possibility for tomorrow. Main time frame on this is going to be probably as early as 1 p.m. if you're over here further in the west part of the region. And it's going to clear into Pennsylvania, West Virginia by around the 9 to 10 p.m. time frame. So 1 o'clock over here, probably closer to 3 o'clock over here, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, just kind of rough estimate timing here. Expect a very fast-moving line of storms, potentially individual cells. We call them supercells possible. If those storms can remain more so isolated and not form into a line, we could be talking about the possibility of multiple tornadoes tomorrow. If it does form into a line quicker, we're talking more of a wind threat with potential for spin-up tornadoes along that line. But if these storms look to stay isolated, which is what the models are currently showing, that's also why we have that tornado-driven moderate risk that is now in effect here for Ohio. So that's the synopsis for tonight. Again, we have had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, tonight already in Illinois and also here in Indiana. We expect this line to carry the severe potential overnight across southern Illinois, south Indiana here, as well as southern Ohio. I do see they just went ahead and extended that severe thunderstorm warning into the west Indianapolis metro area. Let's go ahead and take a look at that in just a second here. I'll pop this day 2 outlook off your screen. There we go. Back to just a gray base. They did extend this over into the West Indianapolis area. Your main hazard is going to be 1.5-inch hail. So that's going to be equivalent to just under a golf ball. We're looking at mostly ping pong ball size hail with this storm heading into Indianapolis, Indiana here momentarily. Currently about to hit Danville, Plainfield. Greencastle looks like it's missing out, but you do have storms behind this that are currently not warned, but these do carry potential for severe weather as they continue off to the east. And again, we do have a lot more coming back down here in Missouri. That's going to be pushing into Illinois first and then Indiana later on this evening. That severe thunderstorm watch does go until 3 a.m. So this is going to be a long night ahead of us. With that being said, I'll look at some comments here for any of the questions you guys have. Overall, we're watching the latest models that are starting to roll in for tomorrow. We see the west shift on these models, trying to shift us more so west, maybe a little bit more further south too. So we'll have to watch that and see how it holds up in terms of if that is going to be extend, if the moderate's going to extend, or they're going to push the moderate in general further west to accommodate. But the latest update comes at 2 a.m. So we're not going to know what the SPC is going to do until that time frame. But at this point, we just can kind of guess what's going to happen. Look at the comments here. I have a group headed to White Lake to Columbus, Ohio. What is the time to worry about that trip? The main time frame for Ohio there is probably going to be roughly the early to mid-afternoon, probably from about 2 p.m. to about 5 p.m. For that area. Maybe a little bit before or after that. I'm going to assume probably a little after that maybe. But I think the 2 to 5 p.m. time frame across that West Ohio area is going to be the hot spot for you. If you guys got questions, feel free to drop those in chat. Again, I'll go ahead and pull up the SPC outlook for you guys on a local basis so it's more so visible. I know Radar Omega doesn't really have great colors, so to speak, to show you. So I can pull this up on a more local basis here in just a second for you guys. Here we go. You might be able to see that. Yes, you can. So that's going to be your severe weather risk tomorrow. Areas in that red, moderate risk level 4 out of 5 is going to be, again, we could see that shift further west. We'll have to kind of wait and see how that plays out. But right now it's placed across central, south and central Ohio. Pretty much the entire state of Ohio really has a risk for all hazards tomorrow. And then also extending that further west into Indiana, and then just barely touching Illinois area there. So that's going to be a risk tomorrow. Looking at some of these models, we can look at one model as it comes in. We're looking at the latest HRRR model. We're going to pop this through. This is tonight. We see that line carry severe potential across South Illinois, Indiana into Ohio there. And then as that clears out, we have development down here a little bit further west than Ohio. This is at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central time tomorrow. So this is why we're kind of thinking that risk may be shifting a bit further west here, as a bit development here is in Indiana with this model. Also, the previous models as well started that western shift. And then as we get into the later afternoon hours, that continues off into the west part of Ohio here. This is 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. But again, we're just kind of basing this off rough timing at this point. So we're just going to be more so watching for adjustments in timing up until then. These models like to kind of shift this time frame around, kind of shift areas. So we'll be watching data all night long to see how it trends, and then we'll have an update for you tomorrow morning. Overall, though, the environment does remain favorable off here into the Indiana, into Western Ohio area at the very least, probably extending all the way further into Ohio there. We just see the good environment just blows up across Indiana here at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then just continues to carry eastward with time. So the entire Indiana area tomorrow and the entire Ohio area tomorrow should be on alert, on very high alert for this potential dangerous day. The SPC is calling for a possible severe weather outbreak. So this is something you don't want to take lightly. With that being said, that's all I got to share with you guys. We may hop on here a little bit later on to do another in-depth briefing. Then also, if anything does go tornado warned and I see it, if I'm awake at that point, I'll hop on here and give you guys a warning. But otherwise, that's all I got to share with you guys right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. Expect a live stream tomorrow. And also we will have chasers in the field tomorrow. We will be live streaming radar coverage here for you guys across Indiana and Ohio for this potentially dangerous day tomorrow. So I'm Ryan with Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. I appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button for me on your way out. I'm going to hop off here, catch a little bit of sleep, hopefully, and then have an update for you guys in the morning. Stay safe.